For a while now, when people would ask me what they think their first pen should be when they're getting into the fountain pen hobby, historically, I would always say a Kaweco. I had not the best experiences with TWSBIs when I first got started. These two inks right here from Robert Auster, they are the Shake and Shimmy Super Shimmer. I've never seen so much shimmer in two inks before. If I flip it upside down like this is all shimmer, which I was very excited about. And I got the smoke with the rose gold trim for this ink. And this Blue Velvet Storm, I got to go in my indigo with the bronze trim. And I got them both in broad nibs, and I was super excited. And this ink was like literal cement. Like, even as I shake it, it's not really moving from the bottom, to just show you how much shimmer is in here. It is crazy, and it's a beautiful ink. I was so excited. I thought, okay, TWSBIs are known for how they showcase their shimmers. Cement. I'm not joking. I cleaned both of these pens out, and when I put a new ink in them, I mean, I cleaned them out over and over and over and over. There was still leftover shimmer from the prior inking. But it just goes to show you that a bad experience with a pen and ink combo can really leave a bad taste in your mouth, and it can really ruin it for you for a brand. So don't give up if you didn't find the right combination. That is really my main thing here. I mean, this color is absolutely beautiful. You can see all the shimmer on this Q-tip. It's crazy. I had kind of sworn off TWSBIs for a while, and then I just got better about trying different inks, going back to like Pilot Iroshizuku, Diamine ink I've always had good luck with. And then things really turned around. And now you'll see in today's video, I got a fine nib, and I wasn't afraid of the fine nib because I just know to put the right inks in it. For the record, I have put plenty of shimmer inks in my TWSBIs before and since. Just this level of shimmer was just way too much. It just couldn't handle it. So I'm curious if anybody has tried these heavy shimmer inks in a TWSBI and had success. I know several people who use extra fines with shimmer inks, and they have no problem. My very first big girl pen was this TWSBI White Eco with rose gold trim. Unfortunately, I lost it for a while, but it is back with me, and I'm so happy. And then TWSBI came out with some really fun colors, like the cream and the cafe. So I decided to give TWSBI a try again. Also, when I was shopping at Yoseka Stationery, one of the employees recommended the TWSBI Mini to a customer in front of me, and she was going on and on about how it was her very favorite pen. So of course, I went home with the TWSBI Mini in white with rose gold trim. I have since started to absolutely love my TWSBIs. In today's video, we are going to be unboxing and inking up this TWSBI Irish Green with onyx trim, the latest to my TWSBI family. I'm also going to be sharing with you some new inks I have acquired, mostly from Wearingeul. They theme their inks after literature and novels. I've been enjoying purchasing some beautiful editions of some classics, such as this gorgeous illustrated edition of Wuthering Heights. This is next up on my books to read. I also have this version of Pride and Prejudice, and this is Persuasion. So it's a bit of a random pairing, but I thought it would be fun to ink up some of my TWSBIs with some of my new inks. I'm also going to feature for a moment my Montblanc Jane Austen pen with the Jane Austen ink, so you can see the Jane Austen ink from Montblanc, the Diatramentis Jane Austen ink that is green that I'm unboxing today, and then I also have Pride and Prejudice from Wearingeul. So I think it would be really interesting, and I also have Jane Eyre from Wearingeul. So I'm just decided to pair these literature-inspired inks with my TWSBIs, and I'm also going to show you some line comparisons. I have a fine, a medium, a broad, a stub nib, which I don't think I demonstrate in the video. My apologies. And then this Irish Green pen has a black coating, so it writes a little bit broader than my typical fine, which is this one. I really do feel like I owe TWSBI an apology, though, because I feel like I have been unfairly comparing TWSBIs to Kawecos. And when you look at these pens side by side, it's really like apples and oranges. These are a piston fill pen. They have incredible ink capacity. You need bottled ink to fill these pens. These have cartridge converters. They have smaller ink capacity. These are German made. They have clips that you can add onto them. They're both affordable. They're both reliable. They both come in a variety of colors. They're both highly collectible, but I really think they are very different. I love my Kavecos for all the reasons I just mentioned, but I've been really enjoying my TWSBIs. Although in today's video, there's a little hiccup, quite literally, with a couple of my samples. And I'm curious if this has happened to you with your TWSBIs. You'll have to let me know at the end of the video. But enough talking, let's jump into the video. Are you team TWSBI or are you team Kaveco? So here's the combo that inspired me to do this random video about TWSBIs and literature themed inks. This is the true inspiration. I got this Jane Austen pen for my birthday. So this was the OG. I will give an ink sample of this, but today I want to talk about TWSBIs. This is the new unboxing. We are unboxing this together. I have not seen this in person. Then a couple days ago, I got the Pride and Prejudice ink. I put it in this TWSBI and I'm really having fun with it. I also got the Jane Eyre ink, which I talked about in my last check-in video. So I just cleaned out this TWSBI and we're gonna put this in here. So this is the latest TWSBI. It's the green and onyx. Let's do this first. Okay. I've been really enjoying my TWSBIs. I feel like I wasn't very pro TWSBI for a while, and I've been loving them. So the TWSBI comes with a little silicone grease and the wrench here. You can actually take your TWSBIs apart. I have about 5 TWSBIs and I've never taken them apart, I'm afraid. This is beautiful though, I'm really excited. I always tend to film at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun is starting to come down, but it's nice because we can use all the natural lighting. I am loving the black on this. And I'm really excited about the black nib on this as well because I love all of my Lamy Safaris that have the black nib. I've talked about them extensively. They're my favorite. And this is just so pretty. I think this is fantastic. I got it in a fine nib. I have a couple medium nibs. Let's get in there close and see this nib. It's really pretty. This black trim has been a trend lately from what I've seen. Pelikan just released their first pen with black trim. The light gray M600 has black trim. Let me just give you my TWSBI lineup for now. This is the smoke with rose gold trim. I have carbon ink in here right now. Here is the blue with the bronze trim. This is the one I probably use the least. This is a Diamond 580 that I got the Fountain Pen Hospital in New York City. This has a stub nib. This is a fun one. I'll put this over here. Here's my white with rose gold trim. This is the cream with the rose gold trim as well. I love the rose gold trim. I think it's my favorite. It's so pretty. So I have the Pride and Prejudice ink in there. And here is the Cafe with the bronze trim. I think it has KWZ Smells Like Coffee in there. Yes, I had to smell it, yes. That, I don't think I've changed that yet. I've filled it up a second time with that. And then my mini. So pretty. I love how it screws on. This is such an underrated, beautiful pen. I love all the facets here with the white rose gold. I was a bit of a holdout on this pen because I already had this, but I love it. I just think you get so much bang for your buck when it comes to TWSBIs. All of the TWSBIs that I own right now are like special edition, so they're $49 because they have the special trim. You can get TWSBIs for about $30, $32 if you get like the traditional Ecos. So one of my viewers on one of my videos where I was talking about Jane Austen said that there was this ink, this Diatramentus ink. And when I Googled it, Goulet Pens was the only one who had it in stock. It looks like, maybe not Dromgool's. It may have been Van Ness that had it, but it was out of stock. And it looked like a really nice green. I'm really hoping this is a good match. It just worked out that they released this and I was on the hunt for this. But let's first get an ink sample. I think it's going to be the perfect green. That's what I'm really hoping for. This is a Kakamori brass nib that I have in a Kaveco Sketch Up. I've been really liking it for ink samples. Oh my gosh, this ink is going to be perfect. Perfect. That's beautiful. And let's take a look at it on Tomoe River. Just get to appreciate the ink properties a little bit better on Tomoe River, I think. It really holds the ink. The cool thing about the Kakamori nib is the lower you hold it, the broader the line is that you get. It comes out really nice. You can see the pooling a little bit here, which is nice. Maybe get some shading in there. Oh, there's a ton of feathering on the Leutram notebook. I just want to get this close because you can see how bad it feathered. Didn't go through the back. You definitely get some ghosting. Yeah, you don't get any feathering. There'll definitely be some heavy ghosting there, but it doesn't go through. I'm going to give this a quick rinse and get out any dust particles, and then we'll go ahead and ink it up. So with a piston fill, it sucks in the ink, and then it tightens here at the end. So when you're ready to ink something up, you go counterclockwise. You push out everything that's in there, dip your pen in, submerge it in there, and then I'm going to pull that ink up. You can see it coming up. I'm going to get a nice strong fill here. It's also been my experience that when I have a black coated nib, it writes a little more broad than a stainless steel nib. I mean, it's still stainless steel, but it's coated in this black. Oh, this is writing really nice. Whoa, did you see that? Yikes. It's not good, friends. Well, I don't know what happened there. Let's try it again. That is much better. Wow. Let's go back to my home and we'll do it on here. With a fine nib. This is really nice. I know this is a broad nib. You can see the difference. And this has carbon black. So I feel like this fine is writing broad. This is a medium nib, pretty certain. So this is. See, this feels like it's more fine than this, and I wonder if that is because of the coating on the black nib. That's always my theory. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced the same. Yeah, this is definitely writing more fine than this, 1000%. And I don't have any extra fines. We'll ink up my rose gold with the Jane Eyre, and we'll test that out. Here is the Pride and Prejudice ink. And this does have some sheening in it on larger swatches. It's really pretty. And I actually really like it with the cream. I was saying in my last video that this is very untypical for me. I usually go for a much more neutral color, like I would with like the KWZ. This is much more typical for me. This is definitely a broad nib, this one. This feels like a double broad. Yeah, that is writing really broad. You can see the tipping on that nib. So I'm actually feeling like this one might be a medium nib. I'm not sure. Can't see. This green is really sharp. Really fun. So I've been reading along with this book with the audio version, and this has some really beautiful illustrations. This is like a little biography on Charlotte Bronte. I love the florals. It almost looks like someone could have drawn it with a fountain pen. This is when Jane Eyre puts an ad in the paper to be a governess. She's trying to find a job when she's leaving the boarding school. Yeah, so it's just like cool things like that. Different letters. So this is a really beautiful version. This is the page we're on. Yeah, so this is a beautiful copy of this book, and I'm really enjoying it. I have not inked a pen with this yet. I've done some samples of it, but I have not inked a pen with it yet. It's a really beautiful purple. I actually think it could be a nice fall purple, actually, because it's kind of dusty. I had Jack Urban Lavender. It was like a scented ink. Yeah, I can still smell it. It's a heavy scented ink, but it bled through so much. It's really difficult to find scented ink that behaves well. I would say KWZ does pretty well, but this did not. This bled through so many pages. So this Jane Eyre is from Wearingle. That should be enough ink. I kind of like to leave a little space so you can see it swoosh back and forth. So it just says Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre, and I'm wondering if this one says Jane Austen. So they're both named after novels, and then it has the author underneath. I don't have many Wearingle inks. Let's see how this does on this paper. This is not a shimmer ink at all, but I think it does do some nice shading. See, it's almost like a cloudy purple, like a stormy purple. I really love it. I wouldn't like it as much as if it were brighter and more pastel. It's pretty muted, which I really appreciate. Looks like it might have like a little halo effect too, which I really like. Beautiful. Those colors go nicely together. Let's see how that dries. Far less bleeding and feathering. I love this ink so much. This could be one of my favorite purples. It's like a little bit of a glow to it. I just love it. Get a really fine line sometimes with this Kakamori. What do we think? So it's drying a little bit lighter on the Tomoe River, and I love that it's showing just a bit of like a halo effect where you see the darker lines around the edges and you see some shading, which I really appreciate. I think it also held up really well on the Leuchtturm paper. Looks like it might bleed through a tiny bit there on the edges. So this was my very first big purchase. I lost this pen for like 6 months and I found it in the back of my car. So I'm really happy to have found it. And yeah, it's pretty special. Okay, so let's just see how it writes. This is a fine. I'm just gonna write fine over here. Yeah, this is writing like a true fine. what is going on? It did it again. That is so weird. Am I just not like dabbing it enough? That is so strange that it does that. Tell me in the comments, is this weird that that just happened to me twice? I feel like it's kind of weird. Is that a TWSBI thing? That's not typically been a problem for me. Now I'm all flustered. This definitely writes more like a fine. I feel like I might enjoy this a little bit more in a bolder, broader nib. But it's doing a great job. It's a really pretty color. I think this is so pretty. I love the two of these together. Yeah, and I will give you a quick sample on the Tomoe River of the Pride and Prejudice. This is a really bold, like magenta pink. It's really pretty. I feel like I don't know that I would have gotten any of these inks if I wasn't so inspired by the novels. And that's kind of the fun thing about this hobby, is when you can connect meaningful things to your pens and inks and anything that makes you smile a little more when you use them or reach for them more because of the association it has with something special in your life, which I really love. This is a juicy writer here. Man, oh man. You're going to be able to see this sheen on this too, which is so nice. I think it's nice, this bold color. Let that dry a bit. Which is your favorite? Do you like the Jane Eyre or the Pride and Prejudice or the Diatramentis green? Oh, you know what I wanted to compare this to really quickly? This is Spruce County Post, and this is kind of my go-to evergreen color. So I'm curious how it compares. Looks like it might have a little more blue in it. Definitely has that more cooler, sprucey color. But they're pretty similar though. Let me do a lighter. So it dries faster. Let's see. I actually think that this ink is a little bit more interesting because it's showing that maybe we're going to get a little sheen in here. I don't know if it's a super subtle, like a micro sparkle. But let's see that dry down and we will compare. Okay, and while that dries, I will show you what got all of this going. That was this beautiful Jane Austen Montblanc. This was the first time I ever bought anything at the Montblanc boutique in person. So I know this is unrelated to TWSBI, but I just figured I would show that to you. It's a beautiful pen. I can give you a quick writing sample with this. Should be inked up. This has like kind of grayish qualities, and when it dries down, it goes nicely with the blue here. But it's hard to define the color. I actually keep my Montblanc inks in their boxes now because I can often never tell from just looking. Like if you look here, it looks quite purple. Actually even goes down a little purple. But then when it dries, it feels more gray. I feel like a lot of my Montblanc inks are like chameleon inks. They look different depending on what you put it with. Okay, that has dried down quite a bit and you can see the difference. I think I favor Spruce County Post, but it definitely has more blue in it than green. So depending on what you're going for. I'm just going to recycle this, but I wanted to show this on Tomoe River. Yeah, I generally think, it dries a little bit more flat. This is MD paper. I have this little note block that I use all the time. You definitely see a little bit more variation on this side. I have a full review and video on my experience at the Montblanc store when I purchased this. Okay, so that's it. I don't have a very pretty finale for you because it was a lot of scrap paper here. But do you have a favorite? Maybe I should have excluded Jane Eyre and just done the Jane Austen inks. But of the three, which Jane Austen ink do you like the most? The Diatramentis? This is Ferris Wheel Press, so don't look at that. But the Diatramentis Jane Austen, or the Montblanc Jane Austen, or the Warringal Pride and Prejudice. Curious what you like out of these three, or if you think that Jane Eyre beats them all. If we include all four, which is your favorite. This is really fun, and I just thought it was a fun way to do an unboxing and show you my new TWSBI, the green with the new black trim. I think it's so classy, and I think it's a perfect match to this Jane Austen ink. And now this has Pride and Prejudice, and we just put Jane Eyre in here. So TWSBIs are really fun to showcase inks, and they are affordable and reliable. I don't know what was going on with the burping and the little mishaps that we had. So maybe you should try to write on scrap paper before you do anything big project right after you ink these up. That was interesting that it happened on 2 different pens. Let me know if that's happened to you before. Here is, again, my entire TWSBI collection. Got my mini, which I love, over here. I don't have any Eco teas. There we go. Oh, my daughter's friend just arrived. All right, so that is all for my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little random talking about my favorite literature inks with TWSBIs. It just seemed like an excuse to ink up some of my TWSBIs and look at some of these bold and fun colors that I might not have otherwise picked up were it not for the reference to Jane Eyre, Jane Austen, and such. Have you ever bought a pen or an ink just for the name? Have you ever not bought a pen or an ink just for the name? I have done both. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss another upload from me. And I think I have my catch-up video that will be coming out maybe tomorrow or Friday. It's a busy week. It's my husband's birthday today, and I have to go put his cake in the oven. Happy birthday, honey. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.